Peace community, what's up? Welcome to A Loving Lens. Let's get into it. So December 5th marked the 69-year anniversary, of the Montgomery bus boycott. So it started December 5th of 1955 and it went until December 20th, 1956. How long have you stayed committed to the cause that has led to social or political progress? Just a general question. Now, I'm lifting this up because how many of y'all have heard this story that I am going to go ahead on and flag as a false narrative? This story that Rosa Parks took the opportunity from a sister by the name of Claudette Colvin, who was supposedly a 15-year-old dark-skinned girl who was pregnant at the time.
Oh, this the first one. This is the first one. Her name is Claudette Colvin. And she's not the first one, but she was before Rosa Parks. But because Claudette Colvin did not fit the picture that they thought she should look like, she was dark skinned and she had coarse hair. And because the organization, I believe it was the NAACP, did not think she would be accepted by the white people, they had to get somebody that they said the white people could accept. We keep repeating.
Because of respectability politics, how many of y'all have heard that lie? I will happily provide you with the truth, but as a social scientist and a cultural psychologist, I'm curious as to why no one is concerned. I don't say no one, but I have not seen a pushback among the keepers of the culture, among Black intellectuals who hold Black American culture with integrity and love and deep care and value. Push back on these false narratives that I find are attacking some of the pillars of Black American culture, some of our values, and I don't know, I have a lot of theories, but here's the actual factual truth of the matter and why we need to be a lot more vigilant when it comes to critically engaging the stories we choose to believe. I think the anti-Black element is that we are so willing to believe the worst about the best of us. But come on, y'all. But you would turn your nose up at a historical figure just because a lie is spread, even though their material and material actions and intellectual labor has led to the progress that we are able to benefit from now. So yeah, let's dig into it lovingly, of course. There is a fabrication that our elder Claudette Colvin was, let's call her Miss Claudette. Miss Claudette Colvin was pregnant at the time she courageously refused to give up her seed for a white writer. However, Miss Claudette Colvin herself can attest that she was not pregnant during that time. She became pregnant later, and our beloved Rosa Parks and other women leaders fundraised to support her and her family economically, just as any community would do for a young new mom, particularly a community that has progressive ideology about women's rights, parental care and access, bodily autonomy, which is fundamentally different than the narrative that is said, which is that she was shunned for community. So y'all see how someone somewhere decided to project this narrative that is not indicative of the truth, therefore misrepresenting the value system, the politics, the behaviors of all these people who actually did good. This fact undermines the falsehood that respectability prevented a pregnant teenager from being the face of the movement, as Claudette was not pregnant at the time. But as the grassroots organizer, and again, this is 1955. This is the year that Emmett Till was maliciously murdered, where his mother had his open casket, and Jet put that as the cover of their magazine. Like 1955 was fraud, and I think sometimes when we tell these stories, we're not mindful of the historical and social political landscape and reality that Black folk were navigating. It was not safe, and it will be irresponsible for adults who have grassroots organizing background, who knows what's at risk, to put a child as the face of that. I can't imagine why. I can't. I know that unfortunately, because we instead tell these lies opposed to using our platforms to share knowledge and information about the strategies and mechanisms that went into grassroots organizing, particularly the type of organizing that yields tangible material gains for community. Instead of learning about that, y'all are creating lies about Rosa Parks. Like, what sense does that make, and who does that impact? Who does it benefit to tell these lies? Another myth that I hear connected to this story relates to colorism in the Montgomery bus boycott. Some have falsely claimed that this advanced political strategy had to do with the complexion of Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin. However, the truth is that the boycott was driven by formal training and experienced organizers, not the skin complexion of the two women. Again, this is important because it's almost as if we as a culture are anti-colorism, but we're not. We're not. But all of a sudden, again, when it comes to historical figures who have done more in their lifetime with limited resources than anyone who's probably listening to this, you want to turn your nose up and act like you're anti-color. If you were anti-colorist, you wouldn't. If you were anti-colorism, y'all wouldn't be listening to Cardi B. She called black women roaches. Y'all wouldn't be listening to your favorite Beyonce, who built her entire image off of celebrating mixed race ancestry. Like, there's so much that I'm like, if anything, it shows how, as a culture, we're not principled, right? It's no longer a culture of wrong is wrong, regardless of who is wrong, me or thee. It's a culture of, if I don't like the person who's doing it, then we'll call him out. Lastly, there is a disturbing and distorted narrative suggesting that Rosa Parks, our dear beloved ancestor, stole the spotlight from our now elder Claudette Colvin. In reality, y'all, Rosa Parks worked with organizations like the NAACP to raise bail again and support Claudette when she was jailed. This woman organizing on her behalf, and y'all done drug her name in the dirt. Rosa mentored Claudette whole time, inviting her to join the NAACP as a youth leader, where she contributed to direct action protests and youth recruitment. She was empowered to tell her story to other young people to help garner and bolster more youth involvement.
Rosa Parks is a local civil rights activist who boards a city bus and is arrested when she refuses to obey the rules of segregation.
You gotta remember how humiliating that was. You put money in the front, your little nickel or dime, whatever we had to pay, and you go to the back, to the side door. And you're sitting in your seat that's assigned to you. Even if I'm sitting back there, that the bus driver and the whites in Alabama didn't have the power to tell me to get up because dare not sit while a white man is standing.
All right, community, I'm going to wrap it up. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for listening and being committed to truth-telling. It is essential to combat the spread of these lies about Black historical figures with the truth of who they are and their significant contributions to our history, because that is what we need to be studying and learning from. Unfortunately, some individuals with larger platforms have perpetuated these false narratives, but we must remain diligent in promoting accurate representation of our ancestors and leaders. So if you encounter someone sharing untrue versions of our ancestor Rosa Parks and our elder Claudette Colvin's story, consider forwarding them this video or my blog post with love and commitment to honoring the truth. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share if you care, subscribe. I would love to see you again and continue to do this work as we continue to recenter Black stories, Black voices, Black American heritage, and we do so through a loving lens. Peace.